My computer. There we go. Done. All right. So, yeah, welcome again to our Thursday 1 hour 15 minutes webinar. We're going to be looking at scaling and how to do it effectively instead of chaotically. All right. So, my name's Gina Ingroyle, Effective Policy and our Learning Management System and Smart Compliance. I've been in health and human services for way too long. I'll say 30 years because anything more than that would just give away too much about my age. So, yeah, I've been doing this for a long time, been doing quality standards for over 25 years, managed many services, worked in many government departments, and now I really just consult, as well as having my own provider organization as well. So, let's get stuck into it. We're here to learn or find out about scaling your business. Now, someone's going to keep dropping in and dropping out. That's not much fun, is it? So I'm going to actually share my screen with you. Um, as we go into it, let me just introduce to you Emily. She's from Virtual, and May is from Virtual as well. So I will go through the first little bit where I'm going to set a little bit of theory, a little bit of strategy, a little bit of why, and why would you bother to learn how to scale? Isn't it about just getting more customers? Well, no, not really. Not if you want to do it right. So I'm going to share my screen. Am I sharing now? Just a thumbs up from anyone that can see me sharing? No? Okay. Alrighty, it did not take. So share, try again. Share the entire screen. Off we go. Yeah, now I should be sharing, I reckon. But let me know if I'm not. All goodly for everyone? Yep,
Mhm.
says I am. So I'm going to believe it. I'm just going to reduce this gallery view down to here, pop these little bits and pieces out of my way, and let's kick off. Uh, Rightio, so that's me. So you'll be hearing from me and then Emily and May. So here's my businesses, Effective Policies, Smart Compliance Systems, and Learn Easy. Um, what we're looking at here is figuring out how to move the bloomin' floating monstrosity, which is called toolbar. Radio. More people coming in. Alrighty, let's kick on. Right, 4, 3, 2, 1, lift off. Right, there are 5 foundations of scaling, really. I mean, everybody's got a model, but this has been my experience. I've run a lot of large not-for-profits, started off with small ones, scaled them up. I've run statewide businesses for aging, disability, and home care or mental health services. A business of my own, which I ran my first business, I was 23. So it's kind of gets under your skin. Um, so there are 2 provider types who might be in the room or watching this presentation down the track. There's going to be registered and there's going to be unregistered. All right. Now, both those varieties can scale, and some might say, well, would it look the same or would it look different? Do you know what? When I've seen unregistered providers scale, it's looked pretty scary, okay? Because they don't have anyone breathing down their neck. There is no oversight. And they can tell me that they are good providers as much as they like. If I haven't seen it with my own eyes, I take it with a grain of salt. Everybody thinks they're a good provider. And what does good mean? First of all, the service that you give to the participants needs to be the good thing. That's what needs to be good. And when that comes down to what does that mean again, it's the safeguarding more than anything else. It's the safeguarding first, and then a service that actually delivers what it was intended to do. Yeah. So unregistered, as I said, I've had these conversations many times. I think it's a lot harder to be able to make a statement that I'm a great provider and I've scaled up and I'm earning 8 million, in turnover, and I'm a great provider. If I did an audit, then I would be able to clearly see whether you were a great provider or not. We have a, a target audience, which is usually people who are very vulnerable. In fact, 90% of them are vulnerable. Enormous amount of them have cognitive issues, vulnerability issues. They have acquired brain injuries. They have autism. They have mental health. They're looking to please. Most of them will say they're getting a good service, whether they are or they're not. And then you have registered providers, and they're you would think that, wow, okay, that means that if you scale, you're going to be doing it right. Not always. I think often the intention's there, but you don't know what you don't know. Um, Either way, if you want to approach it without a plan, go ahead. But I've pretty much seen what happens when you approach things without a plan, and it isn't pretty. And you can get away with it, but that's all it is getting away with it. If you want to see what happens when you scale without a proper plan and proper advice, I suggest you just go to the banning and suspension orders because
Hmm.
most of them are there for that very reason. Not everyone sets out to be fraudulent. Not everyone sets out to break the law. Often they have scaled their business without any view of looking at how to do that successfully, effectively, and safely. Okay. So number one of the five, remember we've got five foundations. In this particular business, we're not a pizza shop. We're not a takeaway fish and chip shop. We're not Woolworths. We're not Coles. We're not any of those things. We're a health and human service with the most vulnerable populations. One, people with a disability. Two, older people. The other population who is vulnerable, and there is some partial, there are services delivered to these are children. So in effect, really, it is all three, isn't it? The three most vulnerable populations. Yet the government saw fit to just let pretty much anyone become a service provider because they had such strength in their idea that their practice standards and their regulations were solid, that they thought everything would be hunky-dory, and it hasn't been. I'm sure you can appreciate that even one death that's preventable and shouldn't have happened is probably one too many. So your robust operational and compliance systems must take first place. Okay. Why? As I've described, most of the people who haven't done this are on the suspension and banning orders. Okay. As your business grows, you have to be able to be in a position that you can scale, and without having all of your quality and governance and risk um, processes really bedded down, and even with some automation as you scale, things are going to get really hairy. If you're not meeting your quality standard, practice standards, two audits in a row, doing well with no more than a few minor non-conformities, I suggest that you focus on that first, get it right, come out with no more than out of one audit with no more than a few minor non-conformities. That's a pretty good platform to start from. If you're not registered, therefore you don't have that baseline to look at, have an internal audit. And if you're not registered, have an internal audit anyway. It's the best learning you're ever going to do. It's going to keep you safe. And let me bring it back to when I was, a service delivery person, CEO, manager of a service in the old system of block funding. I don't want to get in trouble. I don't want to be in trouble on a board. I don't want to be in trouble as a manager. I had to protect my business. I did it through the right insurances, the right risk frameworks, the right oversight, quality management all the time, because otherwise I get in trouble and I won't get a job anywhere else. Once I've stuffed up one service, nobody wants to hire you. Okay. So your key actions here are going to be streamline your compliance and quality assurance um, processes, okay? They should be on autopilot. The most fun I ever had was when I first learned about quality standards and in 2003, and I ran a drug and alcohol rehabilitation for women and children. And once I learned that, I put it on autopilot. I was so amazed. If you think that quality and compliance standards, and try to think of it as quality, forget the compliance, quality fits under, compliance fits under quality. You only need to say quality because quality and compliance are synonymous. Once you implement quality standards properly, you can go on autopilot. Otherwise, you're often chasing your tail. Um, Automate your business processes wherever possible. This is preparing. Remember, we're preparing to want to scale. You can also use this if you're already scaled and you're in a bit of trouble. If you are putting out fires, feel like you've got no life, sinking rather than swimming, you can still use this same process to fix it. And that's all I've ever done when I've gone in to fix an organization. This is what you do, okay? You want to optimize your workforce management systems. Everything has to be quicker, easier, cheaper, or it's going to be really difficult. Number two, the second most important thing, foundation for scaling, your client acquisition and retention strategy needs to be in place. You need to give it some thought. Why does this matter? You need a structured approach to acquiring and onboarding and retaining participants so that you have steady growth and maintain high quality. If you're going to go and take on 100 clients all at once, I would argue, I would debate you on whether your quality, if you haven't scaled or put all these things in place, I will debate you and win the debate on whether your service is going to be high quality. Yeah. So foundations are important. Key actions for this: automate repetitive and time-consuming tasks. You must. Otherwise, you're going to be like so many providers that I get to get the pleasure of talking to who are just so worn out and wondering how they can, how, where they're going to find the hours in the day because they're still doing things manually. You can't do that and scale at the same time. You just need to be able to have these efficiencies in place. The government likes to call it efficiencies. And that's when we also used to use efficiencies when we were going to sack a whole bunch of people in the government. We're putting in place some efficiencies. So, but it also works in another way. It is you really streamlining things. And you know what? Sometimes, unfortunately, it does mean that some people have to go. Sometimes people are not working efficiently. They are not up to the task. And if you want to run a sheltered workshop, that is up to you. But, and I have, but in drug and alcohol or in mental health, I'm okay with having someone who isn't able to work at 100% or 90%. I'm okay to have someone who has a disability, but only if the rest of the business can actually support that. So if I've got a plethora of 5 people and one of them has less ability to be able to do their job, I can't financially sustain that. But when I've been in organizations that have 40 staff, yeah, I can. We can do that, and we can do that in government. You'll see government will always take on people, so that they can uh, support someone with a disability or can only work at 70%. But you can't do that unless you have the resources to be able to manage it. So choose your service types based on the needs in those areas. Please don't think that you can go out to um, Timbuktu and sell a service that isn't required. Wherever you go, if you haven't done your groundwork and worked out where the demand is for the services you want to do, or if you're already in an area and you can't move from there, find out what the demands are because trying to deliver something that isn't in need is not going to help you. You're not going to do well. It's just like the investment all the investors that have poured in greedily into this organization, not investors, the investment people that set up SDA investment firms and grabbed people's money, built the homes because they found a cheap block of land somewhere. But that cheap block of land that's now got a beautiful SDA home on it, nobody wants to live there. It's not in their area. There wasn't any demand. Don't do that. Don't do that with your service. Find out what it needs and deliver. Or go to the area where that is most in need if that's really all you want to do. Develop a digital and non-digital client acquisition plan, how you're going to get people, where you're going to get them from. This is, this is beyond the business plan that the nominal business plan that the NDIS standards might have made you had that nobody reads. I mean, they read them, but they're pretty meaningless. Before the NDIS in quality standards, we read them, we questioned you, we tested theories, as quality standards auditors, we had to look at all of that and we looked at your financials and we looked at your audit that you had to have annually. Nobody looks at any of that. It's just left up to a few good auditors that actually look at things for the lucky providers who are on the receiving end of that. These plans really matter. Number three, foundation. Are you ready financially? If you've got no spare money, you might run into trouble. I'm not going to say it's impossible. As I said, you might run into trouble, but you might want to have something saved up, or a line of credit that isn't going to get you into trouble to be able to put all these things in place. Why does it matter? Of course, scaling's not easy to do. If you don't have capital to assist you, it can be slower. You know, I had, you can get grants in not-for-profits, not so much today. You can get some grants still in NDIS and home care. So, always keep your eyes out for the grants and when the grants are rolling out, at different times. And some savings, or maybe you've got access to some capital. My scaling as a effective policy for my LMS, I was the first learning management system on the market during COVID, but I didn't have enough capital to advertise it as the next one that came on, which was eTrainU, which is a big organization. It was probably funded by through a grant. I didn't get any grants. So you can see the difference. Mine is only just 5 years later starting to, I've got like 150 providers that subscribe to my, and then, hundreds of others. I think we've got about, we've certainly got thousands of people coming on and off, 10,000 people using it. But it's taken me that long because I didn't have a spare 20 or 40 or $50,000 to scale it up suddenly, like the eTrainU, and I think there's another one with DSC. Different amounts of money. It can be done, but it just might take longer. So you have to locate yourself on that. Key actions for you. You got to analyze your revenue streams and optimize your pricings, right? Keep your eye on that. Find some capital if you can. Reduce your operational costs through automation. The more you're paying the same person to do the same thing at a premium rate, it's really lovely to have someone. They might be your friend, but you're the one that's going to wear that. So how can you reduce your costs to be able to deliver more? Yeah. Number four, your leadership and team development. Super, super important. Why? The ability to delegate and develop a strong leadership team is essential for sustainable growth, right? Really, if without that, yet again, you're going to be putting out fires everywhere, or you're just really going to be let down. So what you need is a strong few people around you that are they've got your back. They've got your back. They're going to be able to help you. They get you. You all work well together. The key actions for this, establishing that strong leadership structure. So, there are many people that don't have much of a structure. They'll just sort of talk about this person and that person, and I don't see anything on paper. I don't see any performance management supervision. We're starting to see a lot more over the last couple of years because it's been forced on you all. But we're not seeing this strong leadership culture where you really mentor the people underneath you. I think you should I'll just add, you should always be planning for the person who's going to replace you. Always be looking. Every time I look at a person up in the last sort of 25, 27 years now, I've never been able to look at them without thinking, oh, what could I do with you? It just becomes a part of your nature. What do I see in you? Oh, I see this and I see this and I see this. Um, that's what I see. And sometimes people can't see it in themselves. And my first mentor saw something in me when she said, I think you should apply for that drug and alcohol management role. Turn off your microphone, please. My first mentor said she could see something in me that I couldn't see. So you want to see things in people, maybe that they can't see themselves, and mentor them. Improve staff training and retention strategies. So much turnover, so much turnover. It is draining, it is costly, it's all those things and more. Okay, so you put in a little bit more effort into getting staff to be able to do the job you need them to do and in keeping the ones you want to keep. Yeah, because that expense is so draining on your capital. In fact, you know what? It's draining on you psychologically. One of the things that really used to drain me. Bear with me. I'm just going to, silly me, didn't plug in my good old laptop, but I'm just about to do it now. Um, these things are psychologically draining, and I mean that. Just let me check something if you wouldn't mind, making sure I am plugged into the power. Bear with me. I just can't see. I don't want to run out. Yeah, I think it's charging. So sorry, guys. I could just get into that. Oh, come on, please. Get rid of that. Oh, yeah, I'm charging. We're all good. All right. So there we were, the psychological drain. Yeah. And I see that all the time on many managers who have built up great businesses financially, but they're gone mentally. They're just so exhausted. Um, and that's not where you want to be. Just waiting for this to open. Come on. All right. So we were on our fourth, were we? No, leadership. Yeah, really important. Always, so develop that sort of habit of looking at people and seeing what they can really do and thinking, well, I know they're not ready for this now, but in 6 months or a year, I reckon they're going to be excellent at ABC. I can see a quality manager, I can see it in their eyes. They don't know they're going to be a good quality manager, but when you see certain characteristics on a daily basis, you start planning and start approaching your management of them in that manner to develop them. So that's your leadership. Um, One thing you probably all know, but if you don't know, you CEO, you cannot keep doing the core business. And I'm in a bit of that position at the moment where I've kept on doing something. Um, Number one, marketing, because I like marketing. Number two, because I'm actually really good at it and I understand my customer base really well, but I cannot do the things I want to do. And I've got such plans for myself if I keep doing it. So I'm really trying to develop someone that I've got trust in that can take over that for me. There have been times when I've had someone take over it and then, they've had to leave, but I can't do the things I want to do if I keep marketing, even if I love it. Um, Coming back to your geographic and service expansion strategy, please have one. I mean, you can just fly by the seat of your pants, and there are some successes, but what that depends on what you mean by success. If it's just money, sure. But if you want a quality service uh, that really is running at its optimal uh, in its optimal manner that isn't going to be the biggest risk on your corporate risk register, um, then you would want to do it in an orderly fashion. And that's why a strategy really assists. So at the end of this, I will send you a free scaling assessment. You can do a bit of a, my guess is that all of you in the room now and anyone watching by recording later and in the future will go, oh, okay, I see where I am on that. I see where I am on that. I see where, you're probably already doing that. But if you want something tangible, in writing, so you've got this record, in fact, it's a fabulous record to have. To really take and then build your scaling plan with, I will send that in the Eventbrite email for you to use. So that's that. So I'm only just going to give you a bit of a snapshot on the last strategic growth plan that I built for someone, and it is right here. So really, it just takes on everything that I've discussed with you, but it's not written randomly either. This isn't like a one size fits all. What preceded the ability to write this last strategic growth plan for someone was a half-day workshop. You need information to be able to come up with a tailored plan for someone. You have your own information, but what I would suggest you do is sit down and put the key people around you and do that together. Or the person that you trust the most, maybe you've got an accountant, anything like that. But whatever you do, sit down and talk about those things that were in the five foundations. As you can see, automation and efficiencies in the staffing, the hourly rates, the etc., is going to give you back um, funds to be able to A, have as profit, or B, put back into that business in your scaling efforts. Because it's not sustainable to be paying wages where you're not seeing what's the word? Where you're not seeing value for money. Okay. It's a nice idea, but it's just not going to help you get where you want to be. So it's that bit of an assessment to see where can you have efficiencies? What can you do? How can you fill those gaps? So we're looking at, your objective one, preparation for your growth, which is really about doing these assessments and getting ready for seeing where you've got room to move, where you're going to have to make changes. And mapping this out for yourself also keeps you accountable. And unless you've got an incredibly good memory, you won't remember. So then your objective two, the implementing and operational stage of your growth. And then objective three will be your expansions into different areas, should you wish to. Um, and let's look at the automations. It's really important to look at what is repetitive, what can be done and automated. There are people who can help you with your digital automations, and there are people who can help you with your efficiencies in um, staffing, with data entry, with your social medias, your marketing is going to be incredibly important with your website. All of those things need to be addressed. There's no point in pouring a whole lot of money into ads when your website is almost like a repellent. If it's not being looked at by Google, you need to fix those things. It needs to be a pleasant place to come, or people won't come. So efficiencies in staff, efficiencies in automations, and there are many staff that you can hire offshore who have great automation skills as well. So I think that brings my theory and introduction to a bit of a strategy to a close, and I'm going to hand over to Emily now, who I work with. I'll just flag Emily and May. I, Virtual wasn't my first offshore staffing um, person, that I have hired. I've had somebody for 3 years, which I found individually, and she's been such an asset to my business, and she's part of the team like you wouldn't believe. We love her, and even though we don't see her in person, but she's made so much possible. And what's made possible for me is to make possible other things for providers out there. And but now I do have a staff member through Virtual, which is why I'm here today, because I don't try to promote something that I don't think is worthy of being promoted. And I'm really impressed with the services from Virtual. And quite a number of my clients, my providers are now also using Virtual staff. Now, let me hand over to Emily, but I can see there are two questions. Do they need to be answered before we move to Emily?
Okay, well, just people jetting off, I think.
Oh, right. Okay. Yep,
Yep.
yep. Um, so, fantastic. Without further ado, let me now hand you over to Emily and May.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much. I'm just going to share my screen now. Gina, I think you might just have to hit no share. No more sharing, please.
I can do that. No share. Well, hang on. You'd think I'd done this before, and I have, but why is it like so hard for me?
Yeah.
What do I
Thank you.
do? Hang on.
Is it good now? Can everyone
Yep,
see
it's
my
good.
screen?
We're good. Yep.
Beautiful.
Beautiful.
All right. Great. So, hey, everyone, thanks for coming along today. I'm Em. So I'm the owner and founder of Virtually. I'm the onshore support here, basically, to assist, guide, and make sure that the challenges, you're never feeling alone in the challenges while running your business. Having managed businesses before with my husband, we understand firsthand the pressures, the highs, the lows, the never-ending to-do list with running a successful business. It can be exhausting, especially in this day and age. Business owners have to wear every hat. And adding a new team member can also feel very daunting, especially when you're already stretched pretty thin. I'm sure a lot of you, if not all of you, can agree with that. So here's where our agency comes in. So we help business owners, a little bit about what we do. We help business owners lighten the load by taking care of a lot of the business operational tasks. So we handle data entry, bookkeeping, staff and participant file management, help with preparation for audit, payroll. We provide executive assistance into teams, as well as someone to manage your calendar and emails. I know they can be never ending at times. We've also got VAs trained in rostering, as well as social media marketing, web design and builds, SEOs, and also lead generation. Okay, so everybody's fully trained in their work that they're doing. Their capabilities are unmatched. They get trained with Gina, and she'll tell you a little bit about that.
Yeah,
So,
well, let me jump in for you. So,
yeah,
with
cool.
every staff member that's deployed, effective policy puts them through the mandatory modules so that they understand the background, that human rights background, the standards, what they're going to see commonly, and then if there are any additional duties that staff member might have, we give them further training. I actually also do the onboarding in person with the virtual staff because I tailor it to the person's business, which I research. So I research the person's business and then I say, right, this is what these guys are delivering. This is on top of the mandatory modules. Let me know. I'm going to let you know what that might look like. Yeah.
Okay, great. Okay, so how getting a VA helps your business? You'll save significantly on costs compared to hiring in-house uniforms, laptops, superannuation, everything that comes with having an employee in-house. You can forget that when you're going offshore, while still getting high quality and reliable support. You've got the flexibility. We can step in on a contingent basis when you need us the most. For example, we had a client few months back. She needed a lot of data entry done to prepare for her audit. didn't need it long term, but just needed, a little pick me up to get her there. We were able to place someone trained into her team to get her over that line. And yeah, she was more than happy with the service that she got. So yeah, we're able to jump in, get the work completed quickly, and take that pressure off your shoulders. And like I said, NDIS trained talent, thanks to Gina, lower overheads, zero office drama. When they're over there overseas, then they're not able to get caught up in the day-to-day and anything going on in the office. They're plugged away in the background, getting their tasks done on time and efficiently for you. It's a good set and forget thing. Your VA's trained, they're plugging away, getting the stuff done. Whatever happens, if any challenges come up throughout the day and you've got to attend to other things, your work is still getting done.
And let me
And they've
just
got, sorry?
chirp in there that when I think you think, oh, that's great, they've got a success manager, uh, great. But when you go, okay, there's just something we're not quite gelling here, or I don't think, sitting down and having a chat with that success manager who knows the person that's working for me, who makes suggestions about, how I could address that. Um, just being able to do that is not something that you get with other agencies, because I tried those other agencies. 5 different staff I had from other agencies, and nobody cared in the background. They didn't care that I wasn't getting what I needed. So it's been a real success.
Yeah, cool. Thanks, Gina. So yeah, their productivity is very high. They're accurate, they're fast, and they're dedicated. Um, Here's a little bit of what some of our clients have had to say. So we've got a lady, she said working with Virtual E has been a game changer for her and her business. Since her VA come on board as her EA, she's finally had the time and headspace to focus on parts of her business that mattered the most.
And I
So
know that client, so that's a real one.
they're all the real ones.
Yeah, that's a real one.
Yeah, so she manages her calendar for this client. She manages her calendar and her emails, helps with the payroll and the onboarding, and maintains the staff and client files, and keeping the compliant management system from Gina all up to date. She's proactive. The client said she's proactive, reliable, and efficient. Everything you'd want in a support role. And another review we had, skilled, reliable, 5-star service, no in-person needed. So I think that false narrative that you need a bum in the chair in your office,
You know,
times are changing for that. I think having a reliable, it doesn't matter where they are, as long as they're reliable and can do your job for you. I think COVID was a big shift for that. It's a massive help within your business. Okay, so it's not just me and our team. This is May. Gina had just touched on May before. May is my client success manager. So not only would you get appointed a VA, you'd also get full access to May. She is my right hand and will soon become yours. She plays a huge role in making sure that every VA we place is a perfect fit. She supports them behind the scenes, checks in regularly with that VA and as well with the client, and works closely with you so you're always getting the result you need without the stress of managing every detail. I know things change. Some months are busier than others, or if you needed access into another service within the team, say you've got a
yeah,
VA doing your, I don't
that's
know,
what I do. Yeah, I've got
payroll and
help in all
HR.
areas, haven't I, Emily and May?
Exactly. Yeah.
They're
If
doing
you've
my
got
website at the
someone.
moment, and they've just been so great.
Yeah, so Gina, like perfect example, Gina just plugs to May and says, "Hey May, I need my website refreshed. Can you get someone to sort me for this?" And then May's already chatting to our web designer. If we need new graphics done, we've got a graphic designer in-house. We've got other clients that at the end of the month just get the bookkeeper to do all the reconciling and things like that, just to keep everything on track. So yes, I'd love to introduce you to May before I jump on again. If she's here.
Yep, here. Hi, hello, everyone. I am May and I am from the Philippines. So I have been a VA for, I would say, almost 6 years now, supporting Australian business owners. So just put it like this, you as a business owner, you are the visionary. So basically, you have all the thinking and everything. And your VA or your virtual assistant, since we work remotely, we are your integrator. So whatever you have in mind, give it to us. We'll do it for you. You dream it, we make it happen. On the other side, me being your success manager, So while your VA, they handle your tasks, I will make sure that we strategize everything, make sure that whatever they have paid, I mean, whatever you have paid for them every hour, we can maximize it and make sure that your business would thrive because we want to give your time back so that you can focus more on your participants, growing your business, as well as spending time with your family. So that's how a VA work, and I'll be excited to, yeah, hopefully you could join us and we'll be happy to scale together.
And can
Thanks,
I
May.
just like interject there because I actually do have a marketing person um, through virtual now. And as I said, someone's doing my website. When I almost urgently need something else, they help me with that. So that's that contingent workforce. And the person that I have is so clever and so talented um, and so technically adept. It's absolutely, like I've been through so many. I've gone through like about five different agencies. They all promise everything, and you literally don't get it. Plus, I've hired off LinkedIn for freelancer people in the Philippines, and they haven't worked out either because they all think they're good, but they're actually not. And I've been so fortunate to find this particular person. I'm not going to say it because I don't want to lose her, but I'm sure she can be shared. But um, and May, I just got to say, and I say it to Emily all the time, May, you're so impressive. Like you call yourself a VA. Um, you're more like a manager, actually.
She is. She's unreal. She's an asset for sure.
Yeah, she's impressive.
Thank you, ladies. But yeah, of course, with the help of our CEO. And it's also nice that Gina has been training us when it comes to NDIS stuff. That way we will be able to like support CEOs with NDIS backgrounds, like to the extent of, I mean, how we know, I mean, how these things could work. So thank you, Gina, for always making sure that we have all of those up-to-date modules and meeting with us every now and then.
Pleasure. And look, I think, guys, that there's some organizations that don't fare well in NDIS, and I think for you to be able to deliver good services and for this scheme to have longevity, the the more you can deliver with less, the more likely NDIS is going to be successful, and you in turn being successful. It's the way I look at it anyway.
Great. So, with that being said,
Any
regarding May,
questions? Yeah.
I think we did have a question. Sorry, just we did have a question. Someone's asked about the safety of sending it overseas. All of our VAs, prior to getting onboarded with our team, they have to sign an NDA, obviously to say what gets shared with them, stays with them, and nothing else. If you're not providing them their own email address under your domain and your banner, so you've got full control of that, we give them one in our team.
Which is
We have,
Australian. Yeah.
yeah, which is Australian. I have a great local team that supports that for me, and yeah, they have full control. When I need to get something back, I can get it back, and things like that.
See, I don't have
So
to worry about anything being saved offshore because I have a Microsoft account.
exactly.
Everything is in my OneDrive. You've got to take like you've also got to take responsibility and go, I'll just make sure everything's being saved in my drive, which I've had to do. Nothing goes anywhere other than my drive. Um, and we do
May
not.
shares all that with all our onboarding packs and things like that. Like there's so many questions when it does come to onboarding a VA. May puts all that in there, where to be saving things, how we're sharing. May's there for the whole onboarding process, making sure that everything's where it needs to be.
And the other thing is too, unlike there is another consultant on the market who I think is sprouting that she's using offshore people for compliance and quality, and working directly with some clients. Not a chance. It's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. This is not, we don't have offshore staff who are interfacing with clients, your participants.
Yeah, that's it. They're
That's
just purely in the background getting the stuff that needs to be done. So at the end of the day, basically our role at Virtual E, our goal is simple. We give you back your time, the headspace and the freedom to focus on the parts of your business that matter the most and that are going to help you be able to get back to the things that you want to do and make the difference that you set out to make at the beginning.
Voila. Has anyone
Yes.
got any questions, comments? We've got we're going to finish earlier than I thought anyway. So has anyone got anything they want to talk to us about? Tell us their story in terms of issues with what we're talking about. I mean, not about your family issues or anything, but anything about issues in relation to what we're talking about today. So anything
I
we
would like to
didn't
share
answer
some.
for you? Hello.
Yeah, hi. My name is Saint, so I'm in Cairns.
Okay.
So then I came across here because I'm just a new startup, just newly registered, and I needed some of the services that Emily said, and the
Yeah.
ones most of the stuff we discussed today here. So they're very, very I think they will be quite very helpful. And as well, I will have to have further maybe discussion with Emily later in regards to her services. And also, I would like to go through your NDIS coordination stuff, which I saw you offered. I saw it online as well.
Oh,
And
were you coming to the training or?
I will enroll to it because I really wanted it and because I have a lot to learn from there. And
Good.
yeah.
Yeah, oh, that's lovely. And if anyone else is looking for or their staff need NDIS support coordination training, I'm doing a 2-day, 20th and the 27th of this month. Because I just can't, I can't cope seeing honestly, some of the support coordinators that ask me questions which they just should know the answer to. So, yeah, I love doing it. So if anyone's looking for it, just check out my Eventbrite. In terms of your scaling, if you're looking for someone to help you with a scaling plan, get in contact with me. You can do a free 15-minute chat on just effectivepolicy.com.au/chat. If you're really pretty technical yourself. I mean, I can see Stephanie Wright out there, and I know she is one clever cookie and very good at business things. If you're thinking, oh, I really like the look of her template, I don't need her to do it for me, but I liked the template that she had her business growth strategy in. Just get in contact with me. Yeah, I mean, some people don't. You know what? I've had people who are really good and could do their own, but they just don't have the time. So just because you're good at it doesn't mean you got the time to do it. So, and it's always good to have a different set of eyes. But um, just if I could put anything across to you, all of you, you can scale, you can make lots of money, but is it the right thing to do if you haven't done it properly? I always say, I look at a banning order and I say, I wonder who died for that. You know, I wonder who died for that. The suspension orders, the banning orders, who died for that? Because 10%, a minimum of 10% of preventable deaths, the deaths are preventable. That's 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 just not good enough, is it? And that hasn't come through skill and highly skilled people doing a good job, has it? What I've noticed in the NDIS is that there is a set of people who come in and they want to scale up, and the idea is to scale up in the 5 years and then sell it off. That's great. Who got hurt for that? Just do it right. It's a health and human service business. Do it right. That's all I would want to impress upon everybody. And if you need more help to do it right, here you go. Emily's got it.
And Gina, I just want to say I've used your policies, I think, for a few years now, and every time we get audited, the auditors are blown away by they've never seen such comprehensive. I mean, we've added our own, so just to get us started, we used your templates, and then over the years, we've updated them to add our own learnings and things that are unique for our business. But I think we've still purchased a few just to make sure that we're updating them on a regular basis. But the auditors have said they're some of the most comprehensive policies and procedures they've ever
That
seen.
means
Give you
so
that
much to me. Thank you.
feedback. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah. All right. Well, I think it's the Mutual Admiration Society meeting for August. This is lovely. It's been wonderful. Look, we'll send out the recording. We'll send out the survey for yourselves to do your own scaling risk assessment. And remember, don't build. And I mean this as a euphemism, really. Don't build something in an area where it's not going to be needed. Make sure you're delivering services that are needed in that area or change the area. Otherwise, you'll struggle. Okay.
May, was there any questions that we have missed?
We'll send out a link to also that you can book in with Emily, so that email will come out straight away. And that's it, really. We'll send out links to both of us. Easy.
Beautiful. Thanks everyone for taking time out of your busy day. No, it's crazy. Thank you.
And thanks, May.
Yeah, thanks, May.
Emily.
Thanks. All right.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks so much, everyone.
Thanks, everyone. Have a good one.
Bye.
See you.
Bye.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
Pleasure. Bye. You staying on, Emily and May?
Yep.
Okay. We'll have a powwow. And if anyone has a question that they want to ask, they'll probably ask when there's no one in the room. I'll just turn off the recording. I'll just say, well, thank you everyone for coming. I hope everyone who watches this in the future enjoys it. If you check in the description of this video in YouTube, you will find a link to both Emily's business and to mine. Thanks very much.
All right. Thanks. Have a nice one.
Okay, bye, Theo.
Joining.
Nice to see you.
Okay,
Well, I
bye.
can't see you, but nice to see you. Bye. Hi, Mary. Good to see some familiar names. All right. Oh, yeah.